election on election which saw you as the president of Ohaneze River State chapter.
Yes.
That was a keenly contested election.
Yes.
I would rather say that some feelings were bruised, and things obviously, as in any normal, election to be contested, that is expected. Now, having won, what is that one thing that you think that is needed to be done? I think your rotation is off. Okay, you're back.
Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So what is that one thing that you think that is needed that you would in the next 1 year do to bring the people of Ndigbo in River State together?
Well, first of all, where we are now is a moment of history. And it's a very strategic era, and I think it's divine, because I believe that God has prophetically marked out this season for Igbos to come together. The Jews had their season when they needed to come back home and unify. This is that golden opportunity for Ndigbo to come together. One message that I have maintained is that there is no superior nor inferior Igbo. There is no mainstream Igbo, midstream, or whichever categorization. Igbo be Igbo. And that is why I think further that my own version of Igbo, Ikwere language, and that is why my major preoccupation at this time is to unify Igbos in River State and to build the Igbo-ness of Ndigbo to the point where River State becomes the melting point as well as the muster point of this end-time Igbo development. Part of the message is to drive a return home investment of Igbos around the world to channel their investment into River State, because the riverine Igbo is the gateway of the Igbo nation into the Atlantic. So in that unification project, we want to sign a signature with a return home investment plan for our brothers, kith and kin around the world, to begin to strongly consider the need to extend their wealth of resources back to their homeland. Because our wealth is spread across the various parts of the world. But beyond that, that cannot be established without, first of all, identifying with the people. Because the highest resources Ndigbo nwere today are Ndigbo. You cannot harness the potentiality of the Igbo race without, first of all, identifying with the people themselves that make up this race. It's not going to be a one-man's projection. It's going to be a people-oriented project. And in order to get the people to buy into that project, there has to be a unification plan. And that Igbo unity is what is of the greatest essence to me, which is what we should be looking out for right now. That wherever you find an Igbo person, you see that Igbo person as your brother. There used to be this impression, I've heard those type of expressions from our hinterland Igbo brothers, where there's Aiwa Wundi Igbo. When they are talking to the Ikwere brothers, Ono Andi Ikwere, and I find that very uncomfortable. I find that unacceptable. And a hinterland Igbo person does not see his riverine Igbo brother, or an Onsoka person does not see the Ikwere person as a Ainwa Wundi Igbo. And then you are addressing an Ikwere brother. So, Onwa Wundi Igbo, Ndi Ikwere, how are Ndi Ole? How are Ndi Igbo? You know, so those type of mindsets. Let me give you a very interesting side of this story. There was this narrative that before this time, some of the communities in Ikwere land were bearing Umu Okoro, Umu Omasi, and so on. And that because we believe that we are no longer Igbo, we began to change it from Umu to Romo. And I said, no, I think you get it all wrong. Because you cannot foist an identity on a people. You allow them to express their individual and collective uniqueness. Ikweres are Igbos, I have maintained. And we have a version of Igbo in our dialect. So our own version allows us to be a Romo Okoro. You know that we have the Anioma people. They say Olise. The Onitsha will say Olisa.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my native name, my Igbo name is Bodoka. The hinterland Igbo will call it Ndoka. So would you now say, because I want to express my Igbo heritage, I will now change from Bodoka to Ndoka? I will not do that. I am proudly Bodoka because that's my dialect, that's my version of Igbo language. And the best way for us to relate is for you to appreciate the uniqueness of my version of Igbo language. And that is why in our Ohaneze meetings here in River State, when we greet Ohaneze, Onyahala nwanne ya, Igbo kwenu, ndị nwe m unu anọ na you know, we also come with the Ikwere version, anumekao, Ikwere anumekao, ihuru hazapa, anukalama anumekao, eleri amma oyoyo. You get the point? Did you see the beauty?
Yeah.
So when we, and our hinterland Igbo brothers who are here, enjoy it. Anumekao, one man came one time and said, no, don't be doing Anumeka here. Say Igbo kwenu, kwezuenu. I said, look, I think you are lost on transit. Because when you say Igbo kwezuenu, that's like a popular Igbo greeting. But coming back home to the uniqueness of my dialect, I have to now raise it. Like Eche will say, Eche, Chekao, Kankao. Do you understand? You have those type of things. Just today, my elder brother and friend, Antonio Lisa in Aberdeen, sent a message to me that the general officer commanding 6th Division of the Nigerian Army here in Port Harcourt, his name is Emeka and he's from Cross River State. Did you get that? Cross River State. And his name is Emeka and he's Igbo, but he's from Cross River State. Meanwhile, many of our people don't know that you have Igbos in Cross River State. Like I have told them, there are also Ikweres in Delta State. There is a tribe called the Ewereis. They migrated from Elele in Ikwere land to the now Delta State. And we have Ikweres in Imo State, the Ikwerengwas. And then we have Ikweres in Abia State. The Ngwaiheke, they have their brothers here, siblings, the Evo Kingdom and the Apara Kingdom. These are Ikweres. So just like Ndigbo, people try to restrict Ndigbo to the 5 eastern states. I say, look, Ohaneze is not Ohaneze in the southeast. It's Ohaneze Ndigbo, wherever they are around the world. And I have maintained that Igbos are the largest black stock on earth. You can't challenge that fact. Because, okay, today it's on record that the largest slave port was the Calabar port. And the highest number of slaves that were transported to the rest of the world were Igbos. So Igbos are in various countries in Brazil, where the Yorubas are trying to contend with them over dominance of that country. An Igbo man is president of Gabon, is not in dispute. You have them in Equatorial Guinea, Barbados, Cuba, and so on. So the unification project is key to me, so that wherever we find ourselves, we extend our hands across the bridge and hold each other's hands in order to drive our development in this end time. Thank you.
Nwanne m nwoke imeela. Ịhụla ka isi kọwaa ya. It's quite, some people will say that the ancestors apparently descended on you at this critical moment in order for you to take this mantle at this critical time.
In the heart of the city where stories unfold, Judging Media TV shining bright and bold, bringing news from the corners of the globe, connects us together, no matter